Teachings of Lord Caitanya, the Golden Avatar, a treatise on factual spiritual life by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Chapter 29, Pure Love for Krishna. Encouraged by Lord Caitanya to proceed further, Ramananda Rai said that the fraternal relationship with Lord Krishna is a still higher transcendental position. The reason Ramananda Rai said this is because when the relationship with Krishna increases in affection, the mood of fear and the consciousness of the superiority of the Supreme Lord diminish. At this point, the mood of faithfulness increases, and this faithfulness is called friendship. In this friendly relationship, there is a sense of equality between Lord Krishna and his friends. In this regard, Ramananda Rai quoted a nice verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:12-11, which Shukadeva Goswami spoke while describing Lord Krishna's lunch with his friends in the forest. Lord Krishna and his friends had gone to the forest with the cows to play, and it is said in this verse that the boys who accompanied Krishna enjoyed transcendental friendship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is considered to be the impersonal Brahman by great sages, the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotees in the mood of servitude, and an ordinary human being by common men. Lord Caitanya appreciated this statement very much, yet still he said, quote, "You can go even further," unquote. Being so requested, Ramananda Rai then stated that the parental relationship with Krishna is a still higher transcendental position. When the friendly attitude toward Krishna increases in affection, it develops into the relationship found between parents and their son. Regarding this, Ramananda Rai quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:8-46, wherein Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva Goswami about the magnitude of righteous activity performed by Yashoda, the mother of Krishna, enabling her to be called mother by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to have him suck her breasts. Then Ramananda quoted another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:9-20, in which it is stated that Yashoda, the wife of the cowherd Nanda, received such mercy from the Supreme Personality of Godhead that it is beyond comparison even to the mercy received by Brahma, the first created living being, or by Lord Shiva, or even by the goddess of fortune Lakshmi, who is always situated on the chest of Lord Vishnu. Lord Caitanya then asked Ramananda Rai to proceed further in order to come to the point of conjugal love. Understanding the mind of Lord Caitanya, Ramananda Rai immediately answered that it was indeed conjugal love with Krishna that constituted the highest relationship. In other words, one's intimate relationship with Krishna develops from an ordinary conception of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to the conception of master and servant, and when this becomes confidential, it develops into a friendly relationship. And when this relationship further develops, it becomes parental, and when this develops to the highest point of complete love and affection, it is known as conjugal love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ramananda Rai then quoted another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-60, which states that the transcendental mode of ecstasy exhibited during the rasa dance between the gopis and Krishna was never relished even by the goddess of fortune, who is always situated on the chest of the Lord in the spiritual kingdom. And what to speak of the experience of ordinary women. Ramananda Rai then explained the gradual process by which pure love for Krishna is developed. He pointed out that the relationship a living entity has with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in any of the modes of affection is just suitable for him. Still, there are higher and lower relationships. A relationship with the Supreme Lord begins with the master and servant relationship and further develops into friendship, parental love, and conjugal love. One who is situated in his particular relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is in the best relationship for him. But When we study these different flavors of transcendental taste in relationship with the Supreme Lord, we can see that the neutral stage of realization, Brahmabhuta, is the first stage, that the stage of accepting the Lord as master and oneself as his servant is better, that the conception of oneself as the Lord's friend is even more developed, that a parental relationship with the Lord is of a still superior quality, and that conjugal love is the supreme relationship with the Lord. In other words, self-realization with a sense of servitude for the Lord is certainly transcendental. But when a sense of fraternity is added, the relationship develops, and as affection increases, this relationship develops into parenthood and conjugal love. Ramananda Roy then quoted a verse from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.538, stating that spiritual affection for the Supreme Lord is transcendental in all cases, but that the individual devotee has a specific aptitude for a particular relationship which is more relishable for him than the others. Such transcendental relationships with the Supreme Lord cannot be manufactured by the mental concoctions of pseudo-devotees. In this connection, Rupa Goswami has stated in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.101 that devotional service which makes no reference to the Vedic scriptures and which does not follow the principles set forth therein can never be approved. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj has also remarked that professional spiritual masters, professional Bhagavatam reciters, professional kirtan performers, and those engaged in devotional service according to their own mental concoctions cannot be accepted. In India, there are various professional communities known as Aula, Baula, Kartabaja, Neda, Daravesha, Sani, Ativadi, Kudadhari, and Gauranga Nagari. A member of the Ventur Goswami Society, or the caste called Goswami, cannot be accepted as a descendant of the 6 original Goswamis, nor can so-called devotees who manufacture songs about Lord Caitanya, nor those who are professional priests or paid reciters be accepted. One who does not follow the principles of the Pancharatra, or one who is an impersonalist or addicted to sex life, cannot be compared with those who have dedicated their lives to the service of Krishna. A pure devotee who is always engaged in Krishna consciousness can sacrifice everything for the service of the Lord. Whether following the principles of householder life or those of the renounced life in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, such a pure devotee who has dedicated his life to the service of the Lord, to the service of Lord Caitanya, Krishna, and the spiritual master, cannot be compared with professional men. When one is freed from all material contaminations, any one of the relationships with Krishna is transcendentally relishable. Unfortunately, those who are inexperienced in the transcendental science cannot appreciate the different relationships with the Supreme Lord. They think that all such relationships arise from Maya. The author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita has given a nice example concerning these relationships. He points out that earth, water, fire, air, and ether, the 5 gross elements, develop from subtle forms to grosser forms. For example, sound is found in ether, but in air there is both sound and touch. In fire there is sound, touch, and form as well, and in water there is sound, touch, form, and taste. Finally, in earth there is sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. Just as the various characteristics increase in the progression from ether to earth, so the 5 characteristics of devotion increase with each relationship, until all 5 are found in the relationship of conjugal love. Thus, the relationship with Krishna in conjugal love is accepted as the highest perfectional stage of love of Godhead. In this connection, Lord Krishna says to the damsels of Vraj in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.82.44, quote, "Devotional service to me is the life of every living entity. Indeed, your love for me is the only cause of achieving my association," unquote. It is said that Lord Krishna, in his relationship with his devotees, accepts all kinds of devotional service, and then reciprocates according to the devotee's attitude. If one wants a relationship with Krishna as master and servant, Krishna plays the part of the perfect master. For one who wants Krishna as a son in the parental relationship, Krishna plays the part of a perfect son. Similarly, if a devotee wants to worship Krishna in conjugal love, Krishna perfectly plays the part of a husband or paramour. However, Krishna has admitted that his loving relationship with the damsels of Vraj in conjugal love is the highest perfectional stage. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10:32-22, Krishna told the gopis, Na parara hang niravadya sangyajam swasadhu krityang vidhu bha yushapivaha ya mabhajan durjaya geha sri kalaha sangvrishchatadva pratiyatu sadhuna. Quote, My dear gopis, your relationship with me is completely transcendental, and it is not possible for me to offer anything in exchange for your love, even after many births. You have given up all attachment for material enjoyment, and you have searched after me. Since I am unable to repay your love, kindly be pleased with your own activities. Unquote. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj has remarked that there is a class of common men who claim that anyone and everyone can worship the Supreme Lord according to his own invented mode of worship and still attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They claim that one can approach the Supreme Lord either through fruitive activities, speculative knowledge, meditation, or austerity, and that any one of these methods will enable one to reach the perfectional stage. They generally give the example that just as a place may be reached by one of many different paths, so the Supreme Absolute Truth may be worshipped either as Goddess Kali, or Goddess Durga, or Lord Shiva, Ganesh, Ram, Hari, or Brahma. In short, they maintain that it does not matter how the Absolute Truth is addressed, for all names are one and the same. They give the example of a man with many names. If he is called by any of those names, he will answer. Such mentally concocted views may be very pleasing to an ordinary person, but they are full of misconceptions concerning transcendental life. One who worships the demigods out of material lust cannot attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although the external energy of the Lord may award such a worshipper some material results. Krishna discourages demigod worship in the Bhagavad Gita 7:23. Antavatu palang teshang tad bhavatyalpa medhasang devan deva yajo yanti mad bhakta yanti mam api. Quote, Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Unquote. Thus, the Supreme Lord awards the benediction of his association only to those who worship him, and not to those who worship the demigods. It is not a fact that everyone and anyone can reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead by worshiping the material demigods. It is therefore surprising that a man can imagine that he will become perfect by worshiping the demigods. The results of devotional service rendered in full Krishna consciousness cannot be compared to the results of demigod worship, fruitive activity, or mental speculation. The result of fruitive activity is that one can go to the heavenly planets or one can go to hell.